I need to borrow your car right quick.
What kind of shit is that? Most people want to borrow sugar, or even ketchup. You want to borrow my car? Hell no!
Ice Cube had already built a strong image as one of hip-hop's toughest and most respected artists. As a member of NWA and later a solo rapper, he was known for his powerful lyrics about social injustice, street life, and racial inequality. Songs like Straight Outta Compton and It Was a Good Day made him a cultural icon. But in the early 1990s, something unexpected happened. Ice Cube decided to show a different side of himself. One filled with humor, family, and community life. Instead of focusing on pain and violence, he wanted to highlight the lighter moments of growing up in South Central Los Angeles. This bold choice shocked both fans and critics. Many people wondered why a rapper known for anger and rebellion would suddenly try to make people laugh. Some thought he was ruining his serious image, while others believed he was trying to reach a wider audience. But Ice Cube wasn't trying to impress anyone. He simply wanted to tell the truth about his community. That even in hard times there was friendship, laughter, and love. This new vision would lead to one of the most iconic comedies of the 1990s, Friday. Yet behind the smiles and jokes, the making of the film was filled with creative conflicts, financial struggles, and emotional challenges that most fans never knew about. In the early 1990s, most movies about African American life focused on violence, drugs, and tragedy. Films like Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society showed the harsh realities of inner-city living, but they rarely explored the everyday humor and joy that were also part of that world. Ice Cube, along with his longtime friend DJ Pooh, felt it was time to change that. They wanted to create a movie that would show the fun side of South Central. The neighbors, the laughter, and the simple moments people could relate to. However, this idea wasn't easy to sell. Ice Cube's image as a serious rapper made people doubt his ability to write comedy. Some even accused him of selling out. But Ice Cube believed that true storytelling meant showing every part of life, not just the pain. Together, he and DJ Pooh wrote a script based on their real experiences and the people they grew up with. The result was Friday, a low-budget film filled with unforgettable characters like Craig, Smokey, Debo, and Felicia. Each one represented someone they actually knew. The story was simple. Two friends trying to make it through a single day in the neighborhood. But its message about friendship, laughter, and survival was powerful. Still, getting this movie made was far from easy. Ice Cube's journey from rapper to filmmaker wasn't smooth. He had already experienced business problems in the music world when he left NWA over financial disputes. Now he faced similar challenges in Hollywood. Making a movie required funding, a studio, actors, and countless other resources, all new territory for him. Ice Cube and DJ Pooh didn't have a big budget, so they decided to follow the examples of filmmakers like Robert Townsend, Hollywood Shuffle, and Kevin Smith Clerks, who proved that great stories didn't need millions of dollars. They pitched Friday as a small, neighborhood-based comedy that could be filmed mostly on one street to save money. New Line Cinema eventually agreed to back the project, but there was one major condition. DJ Pooh could not play the role of Smokey, even though he helped create the character. The studio wanted a more well-known face to attract audiences. This caused tension between Ice Cube, DJ Pooh, and the studio, but in the end, Pooh accepted a smaller part as Red. That change would open the door for a young comedian who would completely transform the film, Chris Tucker. Before Friday, Chris Tucker was an unknown comedian trying to make a name for himself. He had been performing on Def Comedy Jam, where his loud, energetic style and quick humor made him stand out. Ice Cube believed Tucker was perfect for the role of Smokey, a talkative, lovable troublemaker who balanced Craig's calm nature. But when Tucker auditioned for the part, things went terribly wrong. He was exhausted from doing a series of stand-up shows and hadn't fully prepared. The audition was so weak that everyone began doubting Ice Cube's choice. The studio wanted to replace him, but director F. Gary Gray saw something special in Tucker. He fought hard to give the young comedian another chance. Actress Angela Means, who played Felicia, even invited Tucker to her home to rehearse and help him build confidence. This support changed everything. Tucker nailed his second audition and brought the Smokey character to life in a way no one else could. His natural charm and quick wit fit the movie perfectly. The chemistry between Tucker and Ice Cube was electric, and soon, everyone realized that casting him was the best decision they could have made. Once filming began, Chris Tucker's improvisation skills added a level of comedy no one could have predicted. Many of the funniest lines in Friday weren't even written in the script. Tucker often made things up on the spot, turning simple scenes into unforgettable moments. For example, when Angela Means, Felicia, walked up to the porch, she decided at the last second to sit between Ice Cube and Tucker, something that wasn't planned. Tucker's surprised reaction made the scene feel real and hilarious. The crew encouraged these natural moments because they gave the movie its authentic feel. However, behind the humor, the cast and crew worked under strict conditions. The film's budget was less than $3 million and they had only 20 days to finish shooting. Every mistake or delay cost precious time and money. Despite the pressure, Ice Cube stayed focused and professional. Even though the movie revolved around characters smoking weed all day, he made sure the production stayed disciplined and efficient. The hard work paid off. Friday felt real, funny, and relatable, capturing the heart of the neighborhood like few films before it. Friday didn't just make people laugh. It also helped launch several Hollywood careers. Megan Good appeared as a young neighborhood girl. Michael Clark Duncan made a small background appearance before his breakout role in The Green Mile, and several comedians who appeared in the movie went on to bigger projects. Fans loved how natural the cast felt together, as if they were real neighbors instead of actors. The movie became a cultural classic, quoted by fans even decades later. However, things weren't as perfect behind the scenes. As the success of Friday grew, creative disagreements started to surface. Some of the people involved began to feel overlooked or underpaid. Ice Cube, as the writer and producer, had control over the story, but others, including Chris Tucker, started receiving a lot of credit for the film's humor. While Cube respected Tucker's talent, he also felt that his own hard work and vision were being overshadowed. These small tensions would later grow into major conflicts that changed the direction of the entire Friday franchise. When the sequel Next Friday was released in 2000, fans were shocked to discover that Chris Tucker's beloved character Smokey was missing. His absence led to countless rumors. Some believed Tucker wanted more money. Others thought there was personal conflict with Ice Cube. In truth, the decision was complicated. Ice Cube later revealed that Tucker turned down a massive paycheck, reportedly between $10 and $12 million, because he had become deeply religious and didn't feel right playing a character who constantly smoked weed. Tucker himself explained that he didn't want to send a bad message to younger fans or glorify drug use. He also said he disliked doing sequels and preferred new, creative roles. Around the same time, Tucker was offered the Rush Hour films, which paid him nearly $20 million per movie and made him a global star. John Witherspoon, who played Craig's father, joked that anyone would have taken that deal. But beyond the humor, Tucker's exit marked the end of an era. His decision was based not just on money or fame, but on personal growth and moral conviction, though it also created a lasting divide between him and Ice Cube. Most fans assumed the split between Tucker and Ice Cube was friendly or purely professional. However, insiders suggested there was a deeper issue: creative ownership. Faison Love, who played Big Worm, hinted that tension had been growing over who truly deserved credit for Friday's success. Ice Cube had written and produced the movie, but Tucker's improvisation had turned many scenes into comedy gold. Fans began associating the film's humor more with Tucker than Cube's writing. For an artist like Ice Cube, who prided himself on his creative vision, this was hard to accept. A line in Next Friday even hinted at the frustration of people trying to take credit for the first movie. Both men had valid feelings, Cube for building the project from scratch, and Tucker for giving it the spark that made audiences fall in love. Unfortunately, this difference in recognition created distance between them. Their friendship cooled, and the possibility of Tucker returning to the franchise faded away. What had started as a shared dream of representing real life through comedy slowly became a story of pride, misunderstanding, and creative struggle. After Next Friday 2000 and Friday After Next 2002, fans waited for years for a final movie, one that could bring closure to the story and honor characters like Craig's father, played by the late John Witherspoon. Chris Tucker's rise as Smokey in Friday became one of the biggest surprises in Hollywood comedy history. Before Friday, Tucker was a little-known comedian struggling to get noticed in the competitive world of stand-up. He had a sharp wit, endless energy, and a natural ability to make people laugh, but fame hadn't found him yet. When he walked into the audition for Friday, no one expected that this young man would soon become one of the most memorable comedy characters of the 1990s. His fast-talking, high-pitched voice, and hilarious expressions brought Smokey to life in a way that made audiences instantly love him. However, what many fans don't know is that Tucker almost didn't get the role. He failed his first audition, which left him heartbroken. Ice Cube and DJ Pooh had been searching for someone who could bring energy and authenticity to Smokey, and while Tucker was funny, his nerves held him back. But fate wasn't done with him. A second chance came when Angela Means, the actress who played Felicia, encouraged him to try again. She helped him rehearse his lines, adding confidence to his performance. When Tucker walked in for his second audition, he owned the room. His chemistry with Ice Cube was instant, and both creators knew he was the one. That decision changed Tucker's life forever. When Friday went into production, the budget was shockingly low, just $2.3 million. In Hollywood terms, that's almost nothing, but Ice Cube and his team didn't let that stop them. They shot the movie in just 20 days, mostly in one real South Central neighborhood. The crew faced constant challenges, from limited filming equipment to unpredictable neighborhood noise. Some days, they had to pause shooting because locals were blasting music or driving loudly down the street. Yet the cast and crew made it work because they believed in the story. The small budget forced everyone to be creative. The film's famous porch scenes weren't just a stylistic choice. They were a necessity. Staying in one location saved time and money. But surprisingly, that simplicity made the movie stronger. The porch became a symbol of daily life in the neighborhood, a place where people laughed, gossiped, argued, and dreamed. It made the story feel real and relatable. Ice Cube later said that the limited budget pushed them to focus on what really mattered: character and dialogue. That authenticity became one of the film's greatest strengths. While Friday was funny, it wasn't mindless humor. It mixed laughter with real emotion. The movie showed the challenges of growing up in South Central Los Angeles without turning the story into something dark or hopeless. Ice Cube wanted audiences to see that life in the hood wasn't only about gangs or drugs. It was about people trying to make it through the day with dignity and humor. He aimed to give a voice to ordinary folks whose stories were often ignored by mainstream media. The balance between comedy and truth is what made Friday so unique. Smokey and Craig weren't superheroes or villains. They were two young men spending a lazy Friday trying to avoid trouble. Their friendship, their jokes, and even their mistakes felt real. Many people who grew up in similar neighborhoods saw themselves in those characters. The film broke stereotypes and reminded viewers that laughter could exist even in difficult places. That's why, even decades later, people still quote the lines and rewatch the movie. It connects on a deeply human level. Even with a completed script and talented cast, Ice Cube had a tough time convincing movie studios to back Friday. Many executives didn't believe a movie about a single day in South Central would sell. They wanted more violence or a bigger story. Cube refused. He believed that the simplicity was what made it special. "I wasn't trying to make boys end the hood again," he once explained. "I wanted people to laugh." Eventually, New Line Cinema agreed to finance the movie, but only with a small budget and minimal marketing. The studio didn't expect it to make much money. Ice Cube and DJ Pooh didn't care. They were just excited to see their vision on screen. They relied on word-of-mouth promotion, street buzz, and the growing popularity of Ice Cube's name. When the film finally hit theaters in 1995, the reaction was beyond anyone's expectations. The audience loved it. Lines like "Bye Felicia" became cultural catchphrases overnight. Critics were surprised that such a simple film could feel so alive and genuine. Friday made over $27 million at the box office, more than 10 times its budget, and became a classic. Despite the movie's success, not everything behind the scenes was smooth. Creative tension often ran high. DJ Pooh, who had co-written the script and planned to act in the film, had disagreements with the production and left before filming started. His absence created last-minute rewrites and role changes. There were also minor conflicts about direction and tone. Some wanted more slapstick comedy, while others preferred keeping it grounded and real. Ice Cube had to balance everyone's opinions while protecting his creative vision. Chris Tucker, too, struggled with the pace of filming. The long hours, hot days, and limited resources were exhausting, but his natural energy kept the set alive. Whenever morale dropped, Tucker would crack jokes or dance between takes, reminding everyone why they were there, to make something special. The tight-knit energy of the cast helped them push through, and that spirit shines through in the final product. What audiences see as effortless fun was, in truth, the result of incredible determination and teamwork. After Friday became a hit, the lives of everyone involved changed dramatically. Ice Cube was suddenly not just a rapper, but a respected filmmaker. He had proven that he could tell stories that crossed musical and cultural lines. For Chris Tucker, the success was even more explosive. His performance made him one of the most sought-after comedy stars in Hollywood. Just a few years later, he landed his famous role alongside Jackie Chan in Rush Hour, which made him an international star. However, with fame came new complications. When Ice Cube decided to make sequels, Next Friday and Friday After Next, he wanted Tucker to return as Smokey. But Tucker turned down the offer. He had become a devout Christian and didn't feel comfortable repeating a role that involved smoking weed and foul language. Fans were disappointed, and many hoped he would return someday. Ice Cube respected his decision, but admitted that the movie didn't feel quite the same without him. Still, the franchise continued and found success. proving that the world of Friday had a lasting magic that couldn't be dimmed.